Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Colancheco. With me is Ann Thompson. And we have a special guest, Marty Spencer, but you've been on our podcast before.
I have. So I must have done something right to get back on.
With Ronald McDonald House. So thank you again for joining us.
Absolutely.
And we have some new listeners, so why don't you just tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm originally from Miami. I came here in 96, so I've seen a lot of change here in Greenville. But I am thrilled to say I've been with the Ronald McDonald House for about 17 years, and it's a real labor of love. And we are proud to be part of the landscape here in Greenville.
Awesome. And you have 2 kids.
I do. I have 2 sons and my husband here, and they are also still living here. My son went off to the Air Force for 8 years and came back, and he's back in Greenville. And then I have a son that is a movie maker, cinematographer. He has a film out, and so that keeps him very busy. But he does live here in Greenville, which is really nice.
That's also, you saw all the growth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, when I came here from Miami, it was a little challenging at first because it was just I was used to so much things being so much bigger,
right,
and it was smaller. But that was what we were looking for. I wanted my sons to grow in an environment that was reminiscent of where my brothers and I grew up. And Miami was like that years ago. We lived in a little town called Coral Gables, and it was fabulous. But again, lots of changes there, precipitated coming here. And so we're thrilled to be here. Yeah.
And I think you said earlier to Ann that you enjoy the 5-finger wave.
Yes. Here everyone, does wave with one hand, with all their fingers. And so that was nice, because in Miami, the traffic and it is just intense. And when you're getting from point A to point B, my husband worked for Denny's when we came here, and he would drive to Spartanburg, but people would go, "Oh, that's such a long drive from Greenville." And we're like, "I don't think, no, not really." Coming from Miami and getting from certain places, it was just really tough. So it was nice, the traffic. And still to this day, I mean, I'm not bothered by the traffic because we still go down there and see family and deal with traffic issues and that kind of thing. So
get frustrated down there and then appreciate what we have
here. Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's really, really lovely. And Greenville, as I said, has grown very gracefully. So it's great. And we've been allowed at the Ronald McDonald House to grow as well. And so they opened in 1989. And then we were serving as many people as was on our wait list. So we started a capital campaign. And then 2018 opened up the expansion, which was another additional 17,000 square feet to already a 10,000 square foot house. So we have 26 rooms.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so we're kind of the concierge arm of, the Prisma Health Children's Hospital, Shriners, St. Francis, and we're there for families, and families can stay one night or they end up staying 200 nights. We have families do that when the situation is so dire. So we're real fortunate to have something like that, and it's just a testament to what the kind of doctors that we have here and the services that are provided. So it's really hugely important. We serve 28 counties, our 6 surrounding states. In addition to that, we go beyond our borders. So we are a local presence, but with a global impact. So we have families that have come from Hungary, from Greece, from Australia, from South Africa. So it just depends on their medical need, and if our physicians here can meet that, then we take care of them. So a lot for a little house that opened up in 1989.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, you often forget about Shriners. There's not many Shriner hospitals around, so this is kind of like a unique area to have a Shriners hospital and serving children.
When you compare the numbers here and the community and how it really was, I mean, when I came, it was a very small community.
Right.
To have a Shriners Hospital is just, I thought was exceptional. And the head of the Children's Hospital at that time stayed at the Ronald McDonald House and had said that one of the reasons he decided to take the position, staffing, being at the hospital, at Children's Hospital and heading it up, was because of a Ronald McDonald House. Because he knew the program together would be a great thing because we're partners in healing. And that's why we appreciate Ballantine, asking us on and asking us to have a conversation because of the fact that that is a partner in healing, is just spreading the word, advocating for what we do out there and letting people know what we're all about.
Yeah, I love that term, partners in healing. I think that's important to identify because there's so many different organizations and groups assisting others, being able to partner up with all of them. So you also help like the Bon Secours Hospital as well as
do.
Prisma and
Prisma and then Shriners and any other medical entity that would offer a pediatric piece to it that would help any of our families.
Right.
But the other thing that's great about the Ronald McDonald House also is the fact that not only are we helping our families, but we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. So then the community can get involved. We have great events throughout the year. We have a golf tournament that we hold out at the Cliffs. Right now we're in the midst of a campaign,
Stripes.
Wear Your Stripes.
Yeah.
Wear your stripes.
And so that's a great effort for a week. And then we have a plane pool.
You're wearing stripes, but that's not.
But this
what
is not
wear
the red
your
and white.
stripes.
Right. So we have the communities wearing red and white stripes through socks throughout the community and just advocating for us and doing a peer-to-peer fundraiser. So that's always a lot of fun. And then we have a plane pool, and we have a formal Christmas event in December, and we celebrate a different country every year. Reason being because we are represented in countries all over the world.
Oh yeah.
So we have over 350 houses, and so this year will be Germany.
So that's the gala you have in December,
Right.
correct?
Mm-hmm. That's
okay.
right.
So this year is a German. Is it like a whole German theme that you're doing?
It is. So it's the meal, it's the atmosphere, it's music, it's entertainment. So it's a lot of fun. Last year we had Ireland. We do a different country all the time. So it's really a great time for a lot of people. We have over 350 guests attend. And we have it at the Greenville Convention Center.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
that's big.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And I seen you a couple months ago at a Casino Royale.
Yeah,
event.
that's for our Red Shoe Society. So when I talk about volunteer opportunities, we have a young professional group, the Red Shoe Society, that's 21 to 39 years of age. We also have a teen leadership group. They all both have their own boards and have their own events. So that's just kind of introducing a younger set to what we do and introducing them to philanthropy. And so a lot of opportunities for folks. But yeah, Greenville Royale is a lot of fun. Casino games.
Was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that happens every April, like about a week or two before or after our golf tournament. Just kind of depends. But then we'll have our plane pool coming up, and that'll be in October.
Now, where does that go on?
That's at the downtown Greenville Airport.
Okay, the smaller
and
one.
And they pull a plane, and they pull a jet. And
Now-
so there's teams.
Okay,
So,
so there-
Valentine needs to pull a plane.
Yeah, yeah. So there's teams that. Tell me how many people on a team.
There's usually, I think there's about 4 to 5.
Okay.
On a team, and so it kind of just depends on your strength. I did it the first year.
We might have to recruit that.
Get some ringers
I
in
might
from one
have
of the
to go to
gyms.
the gym.
Yeah. Start
And
working
pull
out.
for Valentine, and have a campaign around that. But it's a lot of fun, and we do it early in the morning, so it's not the whole day. So you can come in. It starts around 9:00 and normally wraps up at about 1. And there's trophies and prizes, and families are welcome. And that airport right there has a great little area for kids to play. So a lot of families come out to see that as well.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the little park right there.
Yeah,
the
it's
kids'
beautiful.
park.
Yeah.
Now, when is that? What's the dates on that?
That's October. I want to say October the 14th. I think it's a
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay, good.
But you can go on our website. If you look
Yeah.
up Ronald McDonald House here in Greenville, it has all of our events. It has all the volunteer opportunities. So any information that you might need. But
I
yeah.
know Anna in our office has volunteered and done some stuff with Ronald McDonald House. What other volunteer? How much of the activity that is needed and done at the Ronald McDonald House uses volunteers?
Oh, volunteers are the backbone of what we do. Because without them, we wouldn't be able to do all that we do.
Right.
We're very short staffed, and that's purposefully. We run very lean, very professional, great crew at the house, but specifically so that funds aren't just put out there just for administrative things.
Right.
So the dollars go and they're held responsibly and go for the program and for the families. So our volunteers are huge for us. We have, our families have access to 3 meals a day. There is a hot meal prepared every night for them, whether we have guest chefs come in. And when I say guest chefs, I don't mean professional chefs. I mean families that come in. Now, sometimes we might, but,
Right.
chefs that come in, guest chefs that come in, volunteers, and they'll make the meal for that night. So that's done every night, and that's a volunteer effort. We also have cookie teams and muffin teams. So people will come in and make dozens of baked cookies. I just want that smell and that environment in the house because it feels more like home.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So if you've never been, or if there's someone in the community that hasn't been, it is a house for the community. So anybody can call me up and say, I'd really like to take a tour.
Yeah.
And in November, we have a event called Lights of Love. So we light up the whole house for Christmas, and then it's an open house, and people can come and sponsor and also come and tour the house. So it's Santa's there,
great
Mrs.
event.
Santa Claus is there. So it's a great night for families to come out from the community and just kind of visit us.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to remember that and put that on the calendar. That would be a good thing to come to.
Absolutely.
Just to see the surroundings in the house and everything. Now, the cookie thing, are people actually coming and baking cookies?
Yeah, they bring all of
there?
their supplies.
Okay.
And they come there and they bake the cookies right there. So we have ladies groups that come in. We have moms and dads that come in with the kids. We have moms and kids. We have nannies and the kids come in, especially during the summertime.
We'll have to tell Sue.
Yeah, yeah. We have.
Sue's our baker in the office.
Oh, see, okay, yeah. Well, maybe she needs some shoe chefs to help her.
That's right.
So.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. I can stir. I can add. I'm good at that.
Oh yeah, so I mean that's a great thing, and our families do appreciate it. And we have a cookie jar up front. As families are coming in and out, the postman loves our cookies. He gets them every time he stops. UPS, FedEx, Amazon, they all take part in that as well. So, and they all help us within the community too. So that's a great effort put on by them.
What would you say was, that you've seen the biggest impact that Ronald McDonald made in the community?
Well, I think the biggest impact is that people have access to health care because they have a place to stay. Mm-hmm. So we have families that stay with us that drive to Asheville for care. Oh, wow. So their children, this particular physician is up there, so they'll stay with us, drive to Asheville because that is cheaper than staying at a hotel there. Last year, we saved our families over $450,000 in meals and lodging.
Wow.
We had over 3,000 families stay with us. So
that's a lot.
That's huge for Greenville to be able to have a program that people are able to go to the doctor's appointments, because some are inpatient and outpatient,
right.
But they're able to have this access to this great health care, but without the worry of how am I going to afford to stay there. Mm-hmm. We ask for a $10 a night donation when our families check in, but regardless of their ability to pay,
right.
They have a place if we have a room. It cost me probably about $89 a night to house a family of 4. And so we are the best that we are because of our community.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to come and visit and see, because you'll see what our community does for nonprofits like ourselves. We do have a mission partner, which is McDonald's, but they can't do it all. As I said, there's 350 houses worldwide. We have a global office in Chicago, and they help us with a lot of variety of different programs. But and they also help us with those big partnerships like Sherwin-Williams, roofing companies, furniture. Lazy Boy is a big supporter of ours here in town as well. So they help us with big partnerships that as one house, we may not have access to all of that, but the fact that it's all part of this giant network, that's what they do for us. And then, of course, our owner-operators, our McDonald's owner-operators, are a huge support to us. They have the canisters at their stores that you can drop change in, but you can also round up. Mm-hmm. So when you go to get your food, you just say, when you place your order, I'd like to round up for the Ronald McDonald House, and they'll round it up for you.
Oh, that's great.
And we have the ability on our website for folks to round up as part of your donation. You just go in there and say, I'd like to round up every month to no more than $10. So when you go anywhere in town and you buy anything, it'll round it up to the amount that you've designated every month. And then it's just kind of a no-brainer. You don't have to look at it anymore. It's right there. Should you decide to cancel it, you can. Should you decide to increase it, you can. So that's also a great way to contribute.
Definitely. That is really makes it simplified.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And then it adds, those pennies add up, especially for charities.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. Now, you mentioned people coming and staying with you that are then going to like Asheville or other surrounding hospitals or doctors for treatments.
Right.
What is the next closest Ronald McDonald House?
Well, that would be Columbia. We have 3 in South Carolina. We have one here in Greenville. Mm-hmm. There's one in Columbia, and then one in Charleston.
I had a friend of mine stay at the one in Charleston for a little while. Her grandson as soon as he was born, they identified a heart condition that needed immediate attention, and he had to be transported down to MUSC. Like within seconds, he was probably on a helicopter
Right.
to go down to MUSC, and they stayed at a Ronald McDonald house while he was having some of his treatments down there.
Right.
So that really helped because, staying in downtown Charleston and, staying in downtown Greenville or
The expense is huge.
Yeah, the expense is big. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a assistance for that family. So appreciate. I didn't realize that Columbia had one though.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And so there are a lot of families that go down there and also to Charleston, as you spoke. And then we have one in Charlotte, one in Jacksonville. So, those
Oh,
are the
wow.
houses closest to us. But it's an amazing program. And I think the fact that it offers something for the community, so the ability to volunteer. I remember we had a board member that came to us, someone that had been asked to be a board member, and they wanted to check us out. And
Right.
she mentioned to me, well, is there something here that I could do with my children so that they could, she goes, because so many times you can't do that in different nonprofits. And I said, no, absolutely. I said, because if they like to bake cookies or do muffins, or we have a thing where kids make pop tab bracelets because we collect the pop tabs. And so they'll make bracelets out of those. And so we have a lot of different activities that they can come and do with their parents, just so their parents can share with them that not everybody is as fortunate as we are.
Yes.
And it starts when they're younger to be able to show them, to showcase the fact that there are people that are not as blessed as they are.
Right, right. Kind of building that philanthropy in kids at a younger age is really important. Tell us about the pop tabs. When I remember my daughter being in elementary school, and one of the moms, we would drop our pop tabs in a Ziploc bag at her house on her front doorstep.
Yeah.
And collect them. Tell us a little bit about that. How do you get that campaign? How do you recruit people?
Well, we just let that on our website. It does say, bring your pop tabs to us. We have a house that's sitting out right by our front door that people can dump the pop tabs in if they like, and some people just mail us little baggies in. I mean, it's just very sweet, but we collect those, and then we'll take them to Adams Recycling here in town, and then he pays us so much per pound. And he's very generous and kind to us, and we love the ability to be able to do that. But then what we do, too, is we have groups that come in, and they divide them out. So there's some that have color to them, and those are the ones that we'll use for the pop-tab bracelets. Wow. And so we'll pull those out, and so we have bins of those, and the kids will make bracelets out of that. And we'll sell the bracelets for $10, which represents a night for us at the house. So we try to do those different things to engage a little more creativity.
Yeah, that's
kids.
great.
Yeah.
Pop tab bracelets. I wish you had one to show us here today.
I know.
That would have been really cool because I was looking at your website and I saw the teenagers there making the pop tab bracelets, and it reminded me of the times when the kids were doing those yarn bracelets. Mine were into making those yarn bracelets. We get a road trip and there'd be like a bracelet behind my driver's seat, and they'd be like pulling on me. So that's really cool. My oldest daughter's in college. I think it would be cool. They do volunteer work. I need to mention to her to participate, and she'd enjoy doing the pop tabs. She's an architect major, so that would be kind of like something structural that
very nice.
her team with the architect department would probably enjoy doing.
Our doors are always open, and there isn't any particulars. For example, we have sponsorships and different ways of giving, and it's not one size fits all. It depends on what you're comfortable with, and that's what we want to do, because it's the same way with our families. I mean, we get our families to the house because they're referred by a physician, a charge nurse, or a social worker. And that's kind of our checks and balances, because there have been times that things are rough and people come to the door and they just want to stay there.
Yeah.
But we can't. They have to be referred. And so they're referred to us, and then they stay with us for as long as they need to. I know there was a dad who had been there like 4 months. This happened a couple of months ago, and he said, I'm just waiting for that piece of paper under the door that says I have to go. I said, well, until your little one checks out, and you're here with us, and this is your home. And I say little one because we have a lot of little ones, but your kids, we are from NICU to 21 years of age.
Okay.
And sometimes that changes depending if I've had families of children that are a little bit older than that, because the condition manifested itself when they were younger.
Right.
And we want to help them and give them that opportunity, because you do have families that will be staying in the parking lot or on the hospital floor night after night. And we have a family room also at Prisma Children's Hospital. So they can go on the 5th floor while they're there with their child, and they can get coffee and free snacks and a place to relax and access to computers. So if they want to look up something, so that's just kind of another arm of us over there.
Oh,
as well.
great. Great. Some additional exposure at the hospital. You said 5th floor is
PICU,
called
yeah.
a living room?
It's a family room.
Family room. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Ronald McDonald House family room. And we have 24-hour transportation that's provided by Shriners and by Prisma Health as well.
Oh, that's
For
wonderful.
our families. So, because we never know. We're right across the street, but the weather and,
Yeah.
if you have to go over at 2 a.m. or something, you need to be safe and have transportation. So
Right.
we do offer that as well.
I like the idea of you being able to adjust your age group, because I have a niece that was diagnosed with osteosarcoma at 15, and she's now 22,
Right.
but she just had a reoccurrence of it. So she's kind of back in the hospital, back doing treatments and everything. So knowing that, you're adjustable depending on the case.
No, definitely. I think we have to be that way. I think, just the nature of being humans. I mean, there's got to be some flexibility in life. It can't just be all this way and no other way.
Right.
And I think that lends itself to a friendlier community as well, and for us. And we do that with our employees as well. We're all about family, and we want to make sure that their needs are being met. When they work with us, I'm sure that's important at Ballantine as well, that, who's there is happy getting what they need, and because you're at work more than you are at home. So those things can bleed together. So how do we do it where we're, at one point, we stayed open during COVID, but I did have a skeleton staff there, myself and a few others. But the majority of people were at home and working from home. But we were still staying in touch with the community and our families and letting them know that we were still there for them, because there was still a need, even though a lot of places were shut down. We were very fortunate. We never had a case of COVID in the house. We followed some strict protocols and managed to keep everybody safe, because if someone would have gotten sick, well, then they couldn't go see their children.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that we did all the right things to make that happen for them.
That's wonderful that you stayed open during COVID. That's fantastic, because so many places closed and had regulations, and even the hospitals.
You couldn't even go see anybody.
Your kid could be in the hospital, but both parents couldn't go at the same time to go see them.
Right. So having the Ronald McDonald House and a place for that extra parent to stay at is hugely important. And then as an employer, we made sure that we didn't furlough anyone that was working for us at the time, because I didn't think anybody needed that. So we just made sure that we had that in place, and that people felt confident that even if you're working from home, even though we are not at full capacity like we were before, that doesn't mean that we don't need you right now, that we don't need to stay connected, or that we won't need you in the future.
Good,
so I think that
good.
was huge to be able to offer that.
That's great.
So,
One of the questions we ask is, what makes you tick? Obviously, philanthropy is a big thing that makes you tick. It's like in your veins, right?
Well, it's philanthropy. It's my family.
Right.
It's people. It's just doing for others. I can't imagine. I think people sometimes have to say, "No, that's okay." I just want to be able to make a difference. However, it doesn't have to be big. It could be small. But that's the whole thing for me, is just making sure that I can make a difference in somebody's life.
Well, it sounds like you've been making a difference for 17 years
Yeah,
with
I
Ronald
love it.
McDonald House. So it sounds like you've made a big impact in Greenville in that capacity. And I hope you continue to do it for a long time
absolutely.
more.
Yeah, no retirement just yet.
because there's so much opportunity to help out Ronald McDonald, and we have a lot of folks that are listening in or watching in.
Right.
Where could they find?
They just
that
go to
opportunity?
Ronald McDonald House of Greenville, and if they go on our website, everything is right there, from who we are to who our board is. You can see who the team at the house is, all the volunteer opportunities that are available, stories about our families, so you can get a real sense of who we're serving, because it's not one particular illness. It's a variety of situations.
Right.
If you need a place to stay, if you have a child that's critically ill or injured, we're there for you.
Okay. And patients that need your help, just the fact that they need to go through a doctor or a
Right,
nurse
they would
to
just
get a
have
referral?
their physician or a nurse or social worker get in touch with us to refer them over to us.
Great.
Because we've had folks that have listened on your last show that actually didn't know about the Ronald McDonald House, but came to us, and we had to send them back over to the hospital to say, get a referral to come over. But they had heard about us, did not know they'd already
Wow.
been there 3 weeks. And so by
Wow.
the time the broadcast happened, it was, I think, 2 more weeks after that. And so they decided to come and knock on our door, but didn't realize the protocols that were needed for them
that is
to.
amazing.
Yeah, so you just never know.
There's always people listening.
Yeah.
And they might know somebody that have a need, or they themselves have the need. So
Right.
it's always good to provide all that information and what the steps to do.
Well, I mean, I thank you guys for opening up this conversation and for exposing the community to all the different nonprofits and businesses that are
Yeah.
here in town that are making a difference.
Well, I've learned a lot today.
Yes.
Oh, good.
And we appreciate everything you're doing in the community.
thank you
and
so
Ronald
much.
McDonald's, and that's why we, partner with you all around
Yes.
Christmas time, and we
Oh,
have
yeah.
staff that come over and
And volunteer.
help out and
Yeah.
volunteer.
We'll have
So
to add the baked Christmas cookies.
yes,
Oh, yeah, we love that.
we really do appreciate
Any time of
everything
year.
you do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening to another episode of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantyne Capital Advisors. Until we see you again, go make our community great.